off.
Yeah, I mean, this getting over the first two is the main thing and trying to get a bit late. But I actually didn't think that they went so fast, down to the first. Even though there was a couple of fallers, I actually think that in years gone by they've gone quicker.
Yep. Well, at the first fence, we're going to lose one of the greys, Carry On Harry. We lose Wicked Crack. We lose Struggles Glory. We lose In at the Top, who was bang up there. And also number 9 goes Paris Pike. And there were 6 fallers at the first, Tony, and this often happens when the ground's riding fast.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the main reason for here is just they're so bunched up. There's a lot of these horses that won't have seen a lot of light through no fault of anyone's.
No, absolutely. But, 40 runners doesn't look very big there, They're spread right across from one rail to the rest.
Yeah, I honestly think they've been so unlucky because I've seen them going quicker down to the first.
Well, look at the grey horse in front, because Carry On Harry is one that goes. Now, he paddled, didn't he? You don't get away with that, do you?
Well, he just put down, didn't he? And the poor horse behind him had no chance.
Had no chance to go, no. Well, let's just come back again and see. There's the grey. Because he got in front and paddled at it, he's landed too far out and too steep, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that in a lot of places, to be honest, but especially not here.
No, but that's a superb shot, isn't it, as they go through. Happily, you can see You're a Good one just going through at the back.
Was that Marlborough, no?
No, I don't think so. It could be. Yes, it is, in fact. Yes, absolutely was. Well spotted. But what agony for those jockeys. To go out at the first is the worst feeling, isn't it?
Exactly.
Look at that first again. A lot of horses standing off. But Marlborough with 11, 12, how unlucky to go at that very first fence.
Did you watch the race or anything?
I did. I watched it afterwards.
Let's go on then. We're getting down to the second and they all jump this very cleanly. Nice plain fence, Tony.
Yeah. It's all about trying to get a bit late, like you say. They seem well spread out there.
You can see the third horse there in the orangey coloured Celebrate. Now, he would probably be the smallest horse in the field. But he's, it isn't about size, is it?
No, that's it.
Well, here we've got the number 40 horse, Supreme Charm, Robert Thornton nearest to us, flying down there, Little Celebrate just in behind him, going down the middle route. And at the ditch here, we're going to lose Nicky D and Samuel Wilderspoon, who's in red colours. It is a big ditch. It's less of a jump towards the outside, isn't it?
Well, it is the first big test for them, and this ditch is probably taller than the chair with less of a spread. So if horses get in deep here, it gives them less chance. And to be fair, most of them have jumped as well.
Yes, Melly Moss was bang up there, second from a few years ago. And look at these loose horses, how they've righted themselves to get over. Anyway, go back to the action as they canter down towards the next. Always nice to get a breather here, isn't it?
Well, as soon as you get over that ditch, you can settle down a little bit, and then you're heading towards Beechers then, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Last Fling, who is cantering away up in front. The Last Fling, who has some funny old jumping, but Harvey Smith always said he's a good horse.
Yeah, it makes me think that they haven't gone that quick. Even more so with the Last Fling sitting up in front there canting away, because he wouldn't be the quickest even though he stays all day.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But Supreme Charm, Kim Bailey's yard, giving Robert Thornton a lovely ride nearest to his old horse, flicks his ears like antennae. It was the last fence that we lost Nicky D and Samuel Wilderspoon, not at the ditch. The ditch was fine. But going through your mind now, Tony, is a little way now, one more fence, and then Beechers. You start to think about it there. Now, Frantic Tan has gone, and Iris Blue of David Johnson not had any luck in this race at all. So, coming down, you can see the Last Fling towards the outer, Supreme Charm on his inner, few loose horses about, go back one, you've got Celibate there going down the middle, Noel Feely, and a few riders going wide, Bo's starting to get into it.
Look where Norman went all the way around, right round the pin. He's giving him a great ride.
And Melly Moss there just jumping it at the moment. We lose Alexander Banquet here. In fact, he unseats his rider here, Barry Garrity, but that might be a little harsh on.
I would like to see you trying to sit on it now, Richard.
No, but in the morning they'll be fall or unseated. Look at Melly Moss jumping like the proverbial stag, don't you think?
Yeah.
And just going through there, we've got Birkdale, one of the 5 greys. Let's have another look. Last Fling. They're not nodding quite as much now it's been levelled out.
Yeah, a lot of them did go a little bit easier around the middle tower.
Very enviable place to be on a horse with no bridle, Tony.
No.
Smallest fence in the course, and yet after Beechers, you see, it does cause a problem, doesn't it?
Well, you find a lot of horses sometimes after seeing Beechers and getting a little afraid, and it just gives them a little bit of confidence.
We lose Gun and Roses there. He lost his front legs and he then lost his hind legs. But you can see down there, Marcus Foley still there, but we hope that he's got up okay. Right, let's go on then to... Oh, we're going back to the Foynaven, and we're going to see those colours of Sir Stanley Clark, who you rode to victory. This is the canal turn. No, that is it. But you see the get-out point there. That is Foynaven. Yep. Almost looks as sharp as the other, but not quite, Tony.
Not quite, but I mean, it always helps if you can ride it similarly to the canal turn.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think that horse was just, I mean, they were bunching up out, he was fairly blinded.
Yeah, okay, no mistake now then. They're coming down here to the canal turn. Remember, we've got get-out places here. Loose horses are always a big worry because you just don't know where they're going. So they jump this cleanly, but you can see the leader going in and taking it nicely at the angle. Richie McGrath on board. Good horseman, Richie, isn't he?
He's given us a lovely ride, to be fair. He's ended up getting a bad fall off, but he's had a good spin for as far as he went.
Well, from the heli telly, that just shows you right angles. There wouldn't be many countries in the world where you have to negotiate something like that. Have a look at Richie in the last fling. He just popped a short one in and righted himself.
I think it does benefit horses that are up handy at this fence in particular, because a lot of them, like in behind there, will have to depend on how the horse on their outside jumps it.
Yep, well, no sign of Smarty with no bridle, I'm afraid. I don't know how Tom managed to pick up. This is probably him at the back there, wasn't it? Anyway, we start to go up towards the grandstand. Lovely sight, isn't it, now?
Yeah.
For jocks, as they see the stands.
Well, it is if they're still on their horses, I suppose.
Yes. Let's concentrate on the leader then. The last fling, Trevor Hemming's colours. Remember, of course, he bought Beau only last week, and Beau's already departed. So, you can see, hands down, rides a long stirrup leather, doesn't he?
Yeah.
David's lad getting in the red colours. Just look over in about 4th place. Oh, nodded there.
Yeah, there's a couple of these. I mean, Timmy's given him a lovely ride, David's lad, and similarly to Jim. I mean, they're dropping him in, riding him to get home, but at the same time, they're up handy at this stage and letting the horses see what they're doing, and they're only hacking away. By this stage now, the race has really sorted itself out, and you're as well up out of trouble as you are at the back.
Yeah. Did you think this horse would run as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, this horse would prefer softer ground and what have you. It brings me back to the point that, like, I don't think they've gone that quick on the ground.
Look at Binderee creeping into the action now, just behind Melly Moss. Quite a few left in. As Jim told us, there are 23 as we pass. This ditch looks pretty innocuous compared to the others, but it claims some victims sometimes.
No, make no mistake, it's still big enough now.
Yep, just going through JP's colours there on Spot the Difference. David Casey having a good ride at this point, and Axo Dean Gallagher going through. Loose horses, do you know, they're just bred to jump, and that's what they do. Quite incredible. Lovely big stride on this horse, isn't there, as he goes up there. The last ring, he's by a horse called Avacar. I don't think that he's still with us, the stallion. Just see how horses sometimes change their legs to right themselves regardless of what jockey's saying to them.
Yeah, but to be fair, Richie was just setting him up for that there, making him pop. Done it real well.
Yeah, in fact, we haven't lost Beau yet because he goes at the 14th. We've just got Peter Scudamore coming back in to join us, so we'll hopefully he's recovered some composure by now. It's not often that a trainer, an assistant trainer, can have one winner, but to have two is something different. Well, just see little Celibate creeping through under Noel Feely there on the inside of the orange colours. He's only having his second ride in the race. He went at the canal turn last year when his horse refused, but at this stage, Celibate, who was basically a 2-mile specialist, is really relishing conditions. Well, Skew, you're back with us. Have you recovered?
Yes, they're all very... a lot of celebrations going on down there, and, well, just as where are we? I'm trying to...
We're just coming onto the racecourse proper.
Coming back on, as you see, a celebrate. I mean, the ground just had a big part to play, hasn't it? I mean, the horses that you thought, you know, something like Last Fling, that you thought that, you said to me, Tony, you didn't be surprised that Last Fling is able to dictate the pace like that, because they haven't gone mad.
Well, I don't know what you're speaking down to the jockeys down there. I mean, they're probably disagreements, and maybe they did, but it didn't look like they did.
Skew, for the first time we can see, well, he's just gone out the picture, Beau, but he's got the blue cap on of Trevor Hemming's colours. What must he have been feeling now with the leader?
Yeah, I thought Beau was our best chance. I mean, because
Here he
comes. You watch him when he goes. The poor horse. He goes, jumps the fence okay. I mean, I don't think the loose horse helps him a lot. Jumps the fence okay. He goes astride and trips.
Yes, it's the horse nearest to us. Have a look as he changes his legs.
Yeah, and then that loose horse, I think, comes across
the
it.
next one, next fence. Now he's coming into the action. But look, so many horses. Red Cap there, Peter Deal's second runner, Royal Pratika, David's Lad with the sheepskin noseband back in 5th place, absolutely cantering at this stage.
Yeah, here we got, just trying to...
Well, Beau is the horse nearest to us. Trevor Hemmings with 1 and 2. Richie McGrath goes for a big one. Oh, just stood off so far, Skew.
That's right, yeah, he did actually. He stood off too far and he's just gone down and hit.
But
just an exuberant jump.
He never actually touched. He jumped the fence real well. It was just very unlucky. He just buckled up. I mean, he made no mistake. It was just very, very unfortunate.
But look how far Llewellyn is from the jump.
That's right. I mean, when I watched it, I thought he tripped because he's jumped it enormously. Look at that, superb. And yeah, and he's...
That was so unlucky now because that horse absolutely winged the fence.
Poor Carl. I mean, I just commiserated with him in the weighing room there.
Back to the action, Skew. Was he unseated in the end, do you think, Llewellyn?
I think that would probably test his patience to the absolute limit.
Well, we won't mention it then.
You won't mention
Let's get on to the chair now.
You know, I mean, he didn't actually roll over, but it'd be very hard to say he unseated. Here's the mighty chair. And
the last fling leading from Supreme Charm. Celebub back in 3rd. 4th is David's Lad. Doesn't look so big from here.
Oh, look at Supreme Charm. He was a bit lucky to get away with that, wasn't he? He did what you don't want to do at those ditches, stood off too far and just brushed through the top of it. But I think everything else has made the chair look pretty ordinary fence, haven't they?
Yep. Well, here is the view and a totally different one. That horse in front, the last fling, jumped that perfectly. Supreme Charm stood off too far.
That's right, just stood off too far, but he got away with it. I mean, although the green at the top there looks formidable, they can brush through it, can't they?
They can a little bit.
Peter Deal's horses, Royal Pratika and Blowing Wind, following each other around there.
Yeah.
Multiple owners. Nicky D, not with us anymore there at that point. Now, Skew, or Tony, in fact, come to the water, easy old fence, and so it should be. You only jumped this one once.
Yeah, if you just noticed there, I mean, the horse in front just had a little look out at the loose horse beside him. So he did.
Thinking of running out?
Well, he wouldn't say he was thinking, but he just took his eye off it a little bit. You know, Richie just had to catch a hold of him.
Do you remember on Lord Colleen, you were almost carried out. You were very clever to get him quick to get back in.
Well, very lucky, to be honest.
No, you don't want to be too modest in this game. Blow your trumpet, too few people do. Water's very small these days.
Yeah, but the actual fence itself looks bigger than it used to be. But I think the horses just do have a look at it because it's small, and they just wonder, is there a trick to it?
It probably is. It better being that little bit bigger.
Yeah, it pushes them up over the height, doesn't it?
Okay, now this is something that Jim told us at the time, 23 still standing. I thought that number would finish. In fact, I backed 17 and above.
Yes, I don't know why really so many failed, because as I keep saying, I'm going to be interested to see the time, but I don't think they've gone. Okay, the last thing might have gone a good gallop in front, but the rest have left him alone. You know, there's horses that you don't consider real speed merchants up there cantering on ground that I thought was plenty quick enough.
I think there was a few unlucky ones early doors.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. I suppose speed at the first got a few out, but now you think more should be getting round.
You do. Well, although there were 23 as they went out into the country, Mertzman gets pulled up by Andrew Thornton at this stage. Obviously, he'd been dropping out of the back for a little while, hadn't he?
That's right. And
it can be quite lonely, Tony, going the second time if you're up the front here, can't it? Because holes in the fences, jockeys standing by the rails.
Mind you saying that, I'd like to be up there rather than out the back, to be honest. Lonely as all as you can be.
But the leaders haven't changed for some time, have they now?
I think this horse in front is maybe just starting to show a few distress signals. As soon as a couple start coming around him, he's starting to get a little bit tired. He can chest one or two, this fella, and has always been known for it.
Yeah.
There's Celebet just coming right in the middle of your picture. There's the winner, Bindery, jumping. There's What's Up Boys, the second horse going over.
But they're jumping those for fun, aren't they? We'll
Yeah.
take another check at that from the landing side as we see the last ring jumping well out over it. You'll see the blue colours of Supreme Charm after him. David's Lad, Celibate, Bindery, Royal Pratika, Blowing Wind.
Paris Pike.
And loads of them streaming. You're a good one still there. Right, now we get back from our travelling camera. And look to the left of the picture. The Peter Deal horses on the bridle, David Ladd on the bridle, back to Paris Pike. Lots of horses travelling.
I think Timmy's give this a lovely sympathetic ride here. I mean, he was worried this morning. Timmy's been staying with me all week, and he was worried this morning in case he couldn't get him switched off enough, because he can be a very excitable horse and keen, and he's giving it a beautiful ride.
Yes, in fact, I mentioned Paris Pike Horse, he went. That was Jeddah, the almost similar colours. Sorry if I got someone excited.
Now we've got to begin to, I'm looking here from the position of obviously following Bindari, and all of a sudden I think to myself, Bindari is the only one beginning now. He's the only one that's beginning to canter. The rest are coming off the bridle, and he's getting stronger and stronger, and I didn't really notice What's Up Boys, and Richard has crept him into the race.
How can you say that? Because look at David's lad, absolutely running away.
David's lad was the one danger until he fell, I thought. But you watch Bindari. I mean, as I said to you, what I said to Jim beforehand, I said, you know, you'll want to go to the front sometimes, but just wait till the others tire a little bit before you go and push him there. And he's done that. And you know what? Look at the way he's jumping and look at the way he's arriving there.
I think Richie McGrath's horse in front is just starting to get a little bit tired now.
That's right. But you see, look, you can see Jim. He's almost taken a pull there. You know, I was right, Richard.
You were?
Yeah, he's going very well.
He certainly is, isn't he? Yeah. You know, the last time that the same jockey won the Gold Cup and the National same year was John Burke in '76, Royal Floric, and Ragtrade in the National. A lot of people over towards this side, but also a lot on the outside. Royal Pradika is on the far side. Supreme Charm's been running a tremendous race, hasn't he? You know, for a horse that
he has, yes, but well out of the handicap. He's jumped from fence to fence. There he goes. What's Up Boys is going very well, the grey horse there.
If you look at the grey horse beside him, King's Mark, is absolutely swinging. This horse has run a magnificent race as well. And I think if the ground had been a good bit softer, it would have been, it would have been a different game.
Yeah. Now they're coming up to Beeches, and obviously
it's that little hedge that warns everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, you're just anxious now. You know this is another big moment of the race. What is going to happen? You know, you go into the front at Beeches. I mean, it's a tremendous feeling, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, and that on the inside you can still see is slightly deeper drop.
It is. Well, I looked at it this morning, and you just want to come out and miss the main of the drop, and Jim Lotti has done that.
It's Marjed that we lose here, the horse that hadn't jumped a fence in England but had jumped plenty of them in France.
That's right, and poor old horse. He just left his hind legs behind a little bit of the fence, and it just pulled him, his point of balance over top of him. The next point to worry, I would think, for Jim is now the loose horses, and not only a loose horse but your own stable companion as you come in here. I just was hoping that Beau didn't decide to go to the right here.
Right, well, they're cutting across this smaller fence, but the loose horses have been keeping incredibly straight, haven't they?
Yes, but he does take him wide at Canal.
Yeah, I mean, Jim's in the perfect position now to ride the Canal Turn better than any other horse in the race, but he was so unfortunate because as he's doing it, this loose horse has carried him straight out.
He's come. You can see him pull him to get it right. He knows what he's got to do, but the loose horses are going to come. He knows also the loose horses are going to come back the opposite way. Luckily for him, that has saved him. I think that new railing there has saved it. Has saved a real melee, I think.
Yeah.
All credit to the course there.
The last fling has just went there now. I think he was just getting a bit tired.
But you see, look at the ground he's lost there. All of it, he's up there and cantering in front, and now the others are back around him. And David's. I mean, this point again, I'm looking around. What's going better? What's going to challenge him? And David's lad was going pretty well here until he had a pretty nasty looking fall.
It certainly was. But at this stage, look at What's Up Boys, who often is off the bridle and comes very late. He's probably nearer than he wanted to be,
Yes, I suppose so, yeah. I mean, I think, in a race like this, you just got to get there where you can, don't you?
I mean, there's a lot of horses for me that's been ridden in this race to get there. Like I said, they may as well be sat up there cantering in front, and the trouble is in behind and behind a load of loose ones.
Well, I mistook Jeddah earlier on. He's still with us, but he goes very shortly. Thierry Durman got a few fences. That's David's lad,
And then he brings down
Ad Hoc goes there. And he was actually brought down, wasn't he?
I mean, and to be fair, he was going very well Ad Hoc, wasn't he? I mean, he must have been in with a big squeak there. I expect Paul, I haven't spoken to Paul, but I mean...
But you know what's quite amazing? The front two jockeys here, neither have completed the National before.
I know, it's just...
Isn't that amazing?
It is. Yeah.
Not a lot of talking going on. There's a Royal Pradika, coming.
Big race with this blowing wind.
Look at King's Mark here. Still, I think Ruby has a little look here and all.
He's just beginning to shake the reins at him now here. Jim is very cool on Jim Culotti on Bindari. Very cool because he hasn't really gone for Bindari yet, has he?
Skew, I think it's worth telling people at home that your son Tom could actually have got on this horse this week when Jamie was hurt, but stayed loyal to Smarty.
It was
mentioned.
It was talked about.
Okay. But it is worth mentioning because there is loyalty in racing. Not everyone knows how the thing works. Now, at this stage, What's Up Boys? Just a little reminder there.
Yeah, and you know, he's good here. I thought that's good. I mean, he's not going to find a lot, and he did find it a great deal. But I don't think Beau has been a tremendous help to Binderi. I think he's the type of horse, you know, I know the loose horses lead him, but he would like to be in front by himself, and he's just rushed into the bottom of that a bit, but he's quick over
Wasn't he clever there?
Brilliant. And I think even more so with the last year, the loose horse really does. Richard switches on the outside. I mean, he does.
The loose
look
horse, yeah,
so good
that's
here
right. I mean,
well.
you're flat out there, and it's a big fence, and you know he's a very clever little horse, isn't he, Binderi?
Jim left it to him, and he came out of his hands a bit. It just proved he had a bit left.
That is, you know, all credit to the little horse. But because he's had to do that, he's lost momentum away from the fence, hasn't he?
But if we froze that there, you would say the grey horse wins.
But how many times has the result been changed on that running?
Yep. Well, and bookmakers have been betting on the horse to lead at the elbow doesn't win the race.
Were they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's an amazing race, this, isn't it, for producing the story.
You know, I'm frozen by now. I mean, it's so many emotions. You know, you're so pleased he's got round in one piece.
Yeah, absolutely. But Skew, what happens here? Jim Cullity goes to go outside, then sees that Richard Johnson's going wide at the elbow. He switches to go for the rail, which is always an advantage. Look, you'll see the switch now.
That's right.
He decides, let's go in.
And the other thing, when he switches, he gets him to change legs, and that gets horses to run again for him again. And so Tony's shouting next to me, I mean, you know, he's going to get up, he's going to get up. I thought, no, it's not long enough. He's just going to get beaten. All of a sudden, the angle changed, and
I mean, I don't think we can take anything away from the second horse. I think he's done a fantastic.
I mean, and you can't say to Richard Johnson should have hit the front later or anything.
No, it's just the horse's pattern.
Yeah,
sometimes he does come very late, doesn't he?
Binderi stays the trip right to the line, and that's what he's done. And
this horse was a pointer in Northern Ireland, very strong pointing there. Tony, you come from
just for the last couple of years.
No, Anthony Stroud's father.
Did he? Right.
Bought him, so
Mikey
all
Stroud.
credit to him.
Yeah,
and they said, as when I went back over there, they said there was far better than him over there, surprisingly.
I think
got the wrong one. But
the points in Northern Ireland for the last couple of years have been very strong.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, there you are. Jim Cullity, what emotion. Binderi is the winner at 20-1. What's Up Boys second at 10-1. Blowing Wind third, the 8-1 favourite third for the second year running. And Kingsmark is fourth at 16-1. A lot of bookmakers paying on fifth place this year. If that case, you get Supreme Charm. Celibate was sixth. You're a Good 'Un from Martin Pipe's yard, number 13. Was seventh. Another pipe horse, Royal Predica there, the third of his to get round. Another Peter Deal horse back there in 8th place. Streamstown of Ferdy Murphy's finished in 9, owned by the Haydock Park Racecourse and members. 34 was Birkdale, a horse that was won for the day in the Sporting Index competition. And Melimoss was remounted to finish 11th and last for Storming Norman. Now this is what happened. Fence 1. Marlborough fell, along with Paris Pike in at the top. Wicked Crack, the mare, Struggles Glory, Guggenard, and Red Arc. Some of those obscured from our sight, obviously. Carry On Harry fell there as well, the grey. He was the first to go. Fence 4, the one after the ditch, Nicky D. The New Zealand-bred Logician fell, and so did Samuel Wilderspin. Beecher's Brook, Alexander Banquet, I think he unseated, but as Tony Dobbins said, could we have sat on? Frantic Tan fell there. Axo got rid of his rider, and Iris Blur also fell. Fence 7, the smallest one, Gun and Roses, was the one that hit the deck there. Winning colours, Sir Stanley and Smarty, sorry, I'm just trying to pull up here. Smarty pulled up because his bridle had gone over the head. Pictures we didn't see, but I'm sure we'll pull them out in due course. Fence 14 is Beau. Unseated his rider. That's slightly unfair. Pulled up Mertz Man at 17. Super Frankie fell at fence 18. We'll turn the page. Fence 20, Lyrene Magic and Manx Magic went. Marjed, he went at Peaches second time. We'll get another one at the canal turn, the last ring, spot the difference, and Innis Cara pulled up. 26, Ad Hoc, David's Lad, and Jeddah